Hey guys, welcome back to 4-Wheel Builds. My name is Darius and this is my 2016 Skoda Octavia RS. We purchased the car accident damage, and if you've seen the last episode, we put out the old dashboard. The trim that we pulled out, we also noticed that it's a little bit scratched up. So we need to get that fixed up. So in this episode, we'll take care of that, and then we'll get everything refitted back into the interior and have the interior all fixed up. So let's go. Okay, now we'll take care of the steering wheel. As you can see in the close-up, the lever is perforated. There's a lot of dirt and sweat caught up in those pores. And generally the steering wheel is quite dirty. Needs a good clean, so let's get going. To clean the steering wheel, we will use some Nielsen's APC, which has been mixed 1 to 10, some detailing brushes, some cotton buds to get into the nasty areas or to the tight areas, and we'll top it all off with some Meguiar's leather cleaner and conditioner. First, start off with a detailing brush, some APC, and let's start cleaning. Guys, and take a look at the effect. 15 minutes spent with the detailing brush, some APC has done wonders. The steering wheel is clean, actually smells nice now. It's not sticky to the touch. And look, it's come out looking practically brand new. Give the bottle a good shake before you start. Look at that, guys. So we've now applied a Meguiar's Gold Class leather cleaner conditioner, and it is looking fantastic. The leather is soft, it's nice to touch. The cream or the leather conditioner still needs to be absorbed, but the leather is feeling much more subtle and nicer to touch. And overall, the steering wheels come out fantastic. Really pleased with the result. I can't wait to get this back in the car. Okay, so what we're going to take care of now is this center console compartment. It's also a phone induction charger. So first of all, the part is quite dirty, and it was a little bit hard to move this, the actual slide door back and forth. It's improved a little bit, but there's still a lot of gunk and grime, if you can see. There and there's a lot of crumbs and just, dirt inside. But more importantly, if you have a look at the actual cover, there's a lot of swirls and scratches in it. So what I want to do is first clean it up and then use some of this stuff, so Meguiar's Plastics. Now, I'm not sponsored by Meguiar's. Meguiar's, if you do want to sponsor me, email me. Get in touch with me. I'm more than happy to support your products because they are very good products in the first place. So we use some of plastics, microfiber cutting pad, or we've got some of these smaller and larger backing plates, so and then cutting pads, and we'll see if we can get those scratches out of them. Okay, so I've cleaned the piece up with some soapy water. It's looking much better, but I am very pedantic, so now we'll get some of these cotton buds out and we'll clean up the more gunky tight areas. So the part is looking much cleaner now. So let's see what we can do about these scratches. As you can see, maybe I'll zoom out a little bit. There's swirl marks all over this cover, but in particular there's seems to be quite a large amount of scratches right here in this area, and there also is some sort of heavier scratches here. So let's see what this plastics will do for this. Let's get a microfiber pad out and let's start polishing. Okay, for this next pass, for the fourth pass, I'm going to try this red pad. I think there's maybe the microfiber pad is just not taking off enough. Not having the abrasive, I guess, power. So let's try with this and see how we go. We can always go back into the microfiber pad if need be. It's just so it's looking much better, but I've noticed, I think what we've done here is actually taken too much of the material off, and that seems to have taken off the pattern from the actual panel right there and right here. So the spots, I think, where we sort of concentrating most of our polishing. So as we have seen, polishing these components up, the interior components up, which are fairly scratched, resulted in a I guess rubbing off of this fine pattern that this component has. So we're going to try a different approach. So what I've got myself is that's carbon fiber foil. It's actually 3D carbon fiber, so it's actually quite nice because it's got a nice texture to it, and it's nice and a satin finish. It's not glossy, but it's not matte. It's somewhere in between. It's actually really nice. It's really nice to feel. It's really nice to touch, I should say. So what I'm going to do is get this panel. This is the actual automatic gear lever trim. So what we're going to do now is just wipe this down with isopropanol, so some rubbing alcohol, get all the grease and everything out of off the actual panel. I have washed it with soapy water and dried it off. Now just use that alcohol, wipe it all off to make sure that the vinyl adheres properly, and we'll try wrapping. I've never done wrapping, so this might actually turn out to be fairly comical. Let's see how we go. Okay, so to do this, obviously you have to have the panel that you'll be wrapping. A piece of vinyl wrap which has been cut larger than the actual piece, to make sure that you've got enough you've got enough material to stretch over the sides. Got some wrapping components, and I've got some in the box here. Got some cleanser or isopropanol alcohol to rub the panel down with. Obviously a rag to do it with, a sharp knife, and a heat gun. The heat gun is required to make the vinyl more pliable. Alright guys, so let's grab the isopropanol and let's get started. I'm actually quite impressed due to the fact it's my first time. There is a couple of blemishes, there's a couple of spots here. I'll try to maybe get them out using the heat gun, but overall I'm actually quite happy with the result. So I must admit, I actually thought this piece is actually going to be quite easy to do because of the fact that it's actually quite flat. There's no sort of specific curves, and the holes are, I thought actually quite easy to cut. So the big ones are fairly easy. I had not problems, but the little holes here are quite fussy to get done. So hopefully these will come out nicely once all the buttons come in here. These will come out looking quite fine, and you won't see all obviously the wrapping or the wrap that's inside. But overall, I think about half an hour spent on this, maybe a little longer. Like I said, it is my first time I ever did this, but I'm quite happy with the result. I'll do the rest, and I'll give you a look how it actually looks once I install in the car. We're up to the third piece that I need to wrap. This is the first piece I started polishing, if you recall. I started polishing, it actually came out quite well, as you can see. It was pretty scratched up. This does still have some deeper scratches on the side. But what happened when I started polishing it, as you can see here, I actually burned through the actual pattern that it had. So I actually thought it was under sort of thicker layer of plastic, and then the pattern seems not. It was right on top. So bugger. So to the rescue, 3B carbon wrap. So I need to put that on here. The only issue I really have is this handle right here. I can't actually take this off because it's plastic welded on the bottom. So if I could take it off, but I'd probably have a very, very hard time putting it back on. So what I'm going to attempt to do is actually lay foil on top and cut out around this seam. It does have a seam here, as you can probably see. So I'm hoping to use a very, very sharp knife and cut it right there and make it all look nice and pretty. Wish me luck. Mistake on my part, on my behalf. So these two pieces actually sit next to each other. So I brought up the piece that I did a little bit earlier just to see which way the pattern goes. And as you can see, the pattern goes sort of that, or the weave goes that way. Now when I cut my piece, I measured it up like this. And as you can see, the pattern here, or the weave, goes that way. Now, I want to have it go like this. I probably rather not. I'd rather have it going like this. But if you then have a look, the patterns then match up, but the piece is too narrow. So I've actually got to cut a new piece out and put this one away. I'll maybe use it for something else in a track. Rookie mistake, but we live and we learn. there you go, guys. Finished product. So this was my first item I ever did. The panel for the aircon was the second, and this is my third, and I must say it actually came out quite well. There is a bit of a crease here and on this side, and I couldn't get those out, unfortunately. I'm still quite happy with it. If I might actually get better on this, and I'll redo this panel sometime in the future. But other than that, it is looking fantastic. Really happy. Hopefully it will last. I've never done wrap before, so hopefully this will be something that's actually going to be quite long term, but we'll see. But it is looking fantastic. So guys, that actually wraps up all the panels that we had from the interior. We can now go to the workshop once we have the airbag module reset and start putting our interior back together and getting the dashboard completely finished off. So it's the next day here, guys. We've pulled everything apart, so now let's start putting everything back together. And check that out, guys, we've got the steering wheel airbag in, clusters in, the driver's side is looking fantastic. So now let's get started on the center console. So it's now getting dark, so we'll leave the center console until tomorrow. And here's what we've done so far. Our airbag modules have been reset and have been fixed, so let's start off with that and get that put somewhere in there. Okay, and just the vent now, and the center console is done. So now let's head to the front, install the gear lever trim, radio and aircon controls. Okay, that's the end of today's episode. Thanks for watching, for being with us. In the next one, we'll be taking the front end apart and looking at all the damage that's there, and hopefully there's not too much hidden damage that we were not aware of. So if you enjoyed today's content, please leave a comment, leave us a like, subscribe, and we will catch you in the next one. See you guys then.